Vietnam, a country often praised for its economic growth, has a dark secret. While the world marvels at its rapid development and increasing GDP, there is a hidden cost that is rarely discussed. Behind the facade of progress lies a tightening grip on freedom. The government has been systematically curbing civil liberties, making it increasingly difficult for citizens to express dissenting opinions. This is most evident in the government's escalating crackdown on dissent. Activists, journalists, and lawyers who dare to speak out are often met with severe repercussions. Two recent arrests highlight this disturbing trend: journalist Osin Huy Duc and lawyer Tran Dinh Trien. Their detentions have sent shockwaves through the community, raising concerns about the future of free speech in Vietnam. Osin Huy Duc, whose real name is Truong Huy San, was born in 1962. In addition to being a professional journalist, Osin is also well known on social networks for his political commentaries on his blog. Osin's book titled Ben Thang Quoc, The Winning Side, has attracted significant attention because it provides more information about the 1975 war from the perspective of the communist side. Blogger Osin published this book in the United States and released it on Amazon while studying abroad at Harvard University under a short-term training program. In his role as a freelance journalist, many of Osin Huy Duc's articles have caused discomfort to various groups, ranging from the military to the police. His arrest sent shockwaves through Vietnam's already stifled media landscape. Journalists now operate under a cloud of fear, knowing that any attempt to uncover the truth could lead to their imprisonment. It served as a stark reminder of the risks associated with challenging the official narrative. The government's intolerance for criticism is becoming increasingly apparent. Trien, a respected human rights lawyer, met a similar fate. His dedication to defending the marginalized and oppressed made him a thorn in the side of the authorities. His crime? Defending political activists and victims of land grabs. Trien's legal battles often put him at odds with powerful interests, making him a prime target for repression. These arrests are not isolated incidents. They are part of a broader pattern of repression orchestrated by the Vietnamese government, aimed at stifling any form of opposition. They are part of a broader pattern of repression orchestrated by the Vietnamese government. This pattern is designed to create an atmosphere of fear and compliance. A pattern designed to silence anyone who dares to question their authority. The government's message is clear: dissent will not be tolerated. The message is clear: toe the line or face the consequences. The international community must take notice and hold the Vietnamese government accountable for these human rights violations.
Section 4. Policing a Nation: Vietnam's Transformation into a Securocrat State. Vietnam is rapidly transforming into a Securocrat state, where security forces wield immense power and control. This transformation is not just a sudden shift, but a gradual process that has been unfolding over the past few years. This shift is characterized by several alarming trends that have raised concerns both domestically and internationally. These include the increasing surveillance of citizens, with an ever-growing network of CCTV cameras and other monitoring technologies being deployed across the country. The shrinking space for civil society is another worrying trend. Activists and non-governmental organizations find it increasingly difficult to operate as the government imposes stricter regulations and oversight. The erosion of the rule of law is evident in the way legal processes are manipulated to serve the interests of those in power. Laws are often vague and arbitrarily enforced, making it difficult for citizens to know their rights. The government justifies its actions by citing national security concerns and the need to maintain stability. They argue that these measures are necessary to protect the nation from external threats and internal chaos. However, critics argue that these measures are primarily aimed at silencing dissent and consolidating power. They point out that the government's actions often target those who are simply exercising their right to free speech. The police enjoy broad authority and operate with little accountability. This lack of oversight allows them to act with impunity, often leading to abuses of power. Arbitrary arrests, detention without trial, and torture are commonplace. These practices are used to intimidate and control the population, ensuring that any potential opposition is swiftly dealt with. Citizens live in a climate of fear, constantly aware that they are being watched. This pervasive sense of surveillance affects every aspect of daily life, from social interactions to political engagement. Knowing that any perceived criticism of the government could have dire consequences, many choose to remain silent. This stifling of free expression has a chilling effect on society, making it difficult for any meaningful change to occur.
Pause 3S, Section 4, the hidden costs, the impact on daily life. As Vietnam's transformation into a Securocrat state unfolds, the impact on daily life becomes increasingly evident. Families, friends, and neighbors are caught in a web of suspicion and fear, fundamentally altering the fabric of society. The pervasive surveillance and the rise of the grassroots security force have instilled a climate where trust is a rare commodity. Children grow up in an environment where they are taught to be cautious about what they say, even within their own homes. Conversations are often held in hushed tones, and topics that could be seen as critical of the government are strictly avoided. The fear of being reported by a security volunteer or even a close acquaintance leads to self-censorship, stifling open dialogue and the free exchange of ideas. Small businesses and local markets are not spared either. Shop owners and street vendors must navigate a landscape where any minor infraction could lead to severe consequences. The presence of security volunteers means that even the simplest transactions are conducted under a watchful eye. This constant oversight creates an atmosphere of tension, making everyday activities a source of anxiety. Community events and gatherings, once vibrant and lively, are now subdued. People are wary of speaking their minds, knowing that their words could be twisted and used against them. Cultural and social expressions are carefully monitored, with any form of dissent quickly quashed. Public spaces, which once served as forums for community engagement, are now arenas of control and repression. The psychological toll on citizens is immense. The knowledge that they are perpetually watched and judged leads to a state of hypervigilance. Anxiety and stress become common as people struggle to navigate the complex and oppressive social landscape. The government's grip tightens, leaving little room for personal freedom or social cohesion. In this new reality, the cost of maintaining stability and security is evident in the erosion of trust, community spirit, and individual well-being. The price of a Securocrat state is paid not just in terms of political freedoms, but in the very essence of what it means to be human. Pause 3S, Section 4, the silent resistance, the hidden costs. Amidst the pervasive climate of fear and surveillance, a quiet but determined resistance begins to take shape. While overt dissent is swiftly crushed, subtle acts of defiance emerge as a form of silent protest. These acts, though small, carry significant weight in a society where any opposition is dangerous. In neighborhoods and communities, people find ways to resist the oppressive atmosphere. Secret meetings are held in basements and back rooms where trusted friends gather to share information and discuss ways to push back against the government's control. These gatherings, though risky, provide a sense of solidarity and hope. Art becomes a powerful tool for resistance. Artists use their work to convey messages of freedom and resilience, often embedding hidden meanings and symbols that speak to those who understand. Street art and graffiti, though quickly removed by authorities, appear overnight, serving as a reminder that not everyone is willing to conform. Technology, too, plays a role in this silent resistance. Encrypted messaging apps and anonymous online forums become lifelines for those seeking to share their experiences and organize discreetly. Despite the government's efforts to monitor and control digital communication, tech-savvy individuals find ways to stay one step ahead. Even in the face of harsh penalties, acts of civil disobedience occur. Citizens refuse to cooperate with security volunteers, and some even risk their safety to protect others from unjust scrutiny. These acts of bravery, though often unnoticed by the wider public, contribute to a growing undercurrent of resistance. The psychological toll of living under constant surveillance and suspicion cannot be understated, yet it also fuels a quiet determination among many to reclaim their sense of agency and dignity. The human spirit's capacity for resilience and defiance becomes a beacon of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape. In this atmosphere of silent resistance, the seeds of change are sown. Though the path to freedom is fraught with danger and uncertainty, the courage of those who dare to resist keeps the flame of hope alive. The cost of a Securocrat state is not just in the erosion of trust and community spirit, but also in the relentless drive of its citizens to fight for a better future. Pause 3S.
Section 5. Eyes and ears everywhere. The rise of the grassroots security force. In a chilling development, Vietnam is building a vast grassroots security force, a network that is rapidly expanding across the nation. This force, known as security volunteers, is tasked with monitoring and reporting on their fellow citizens, creating an omnipresent surveillance state. These volunteers are often drawn from local communities, making them familiar faces in neighborhoods, which can both ease and complicate their duties. They are given basic training and equipment, such as uniforms and batons, and are empowered to make arrests. This training, while basic, is designed to instill a sense of authority and duty. The government claims that the security volunteers are necessary to combat crime and maintain order, especially in areas where police presence is limited. However, human rights groups warn that this force will be used to suppress dissent and create a climate of fear, potentially leading to abuses of power. Citizens are encouraged to report on their neighbors, colleagues, and even family members for any perceived anti-government sentiment. This encouragement fosters an environment of suspicion and mistrust, where anyone could be an informant. The presence of these volunteers patrolling the streets is a constant reminder of the government's reach and control, affecting the daily lives of ordinary citizens. Community meetings often discuss the role and actions of these volunteers, highlighting both support and concern from the public. The debate continues as to whether this force is a necessary measure for safety or a step towards authoritarianism.